Hi YouTube, how are you doing? I'm doing pretty good. I could be a little better. You're gonna hear some noise. Doug is building, I think it's a 1949 Studebaker pickup, and he is cutting sheet metal right now. So that's that noise that you hear. So he'll be done in a while. It's very cold out, so he won't be out there any longer than possible. So we had to cremate a kitty this morning. There were two they were born in a hole behind his shop that, let's see, it was a woodchuck used to live in there, and the mama kitty, the wildcat, had two babies, and they were the ones that, I wonder if the smell from that woodchuck, 'cause they smell kind of like a muskrat, really kind of oily and musky, and I wonder if that made those babies sick. But I don't know. Either way, both of those are gone. There's a couple other little ones and the regular ones that are out there, but yeah, she was laying in the straw this morning, and yeah, so we had to cremate her. So it was a little sad, but yeah, not my topic. I mean, they come and go. Like I say, unless they're inside, they don't, they don't live as long as the indoor cat's gonna live. So, real quick before I get to my topic, there was an outfit, um, uh, oh, they were out of the University of Minnesota, and they used to go out to like farm places and trap feral cats and spay or neuter them, like a catch and release type thing, and put them back where they came from, so they wouldn't keep having babies. But I tried to get a hold of one of them, a few years back, and the woman that was doing it said, yeah, she'd come and get some of the cats and then rehome them. Well, to me, it was like they were making money off it. I said, these are wild cats. You're going to have to spend time taming them, you know. So, no, I thought, what are you going to do? You'd have to basically fight with a cat or poke it somehow in the cage and get it sedated so you could even operate on it, and then it's wild after it's nah. It's like, no, we'll just let Mother Nature take care of the wild animals out there. I do as much as I can, so, but I try. you know Speaking of trying, um I weeded out I made some Facebook friends today, and I weeded out some of the older ones. One thing that kind of just, I don't know, when people don't treat me as an equal, but look at themselves above in any way in a friendship, that's not a friendship to me. Other people might settle for less, but I don't, you know. So I got rid of some of them today. Had some youngster there, they said shit like, no, in the scriptures, it's like, oh, don't worry about the man that's like worked for 100 years because this new pup's on the scene and he's more important. I'm paraphrasing. If you know that. I was going to look it up, and I thought, no, I told myself I am not touching that thing. I scoured texts and languages, and nobody gives up. You know, if you know I had a degree, I guess that would be impressive, but just because I know the whole thing, that doesn't matter, to some people. So yeah, I got rid of one of the little jerks that won't even talk to me like a human being. Maybe on a live stream, but not in all reality. I'm not a close enough friend to be recognized for any um totally amazing input. And it's like, no, dude doesn't deserve my attention in any way. So, yeah. And a woman that I buy, a couple of them today, So, yeah, I feel better. You can only try so much with people. And I found out a lot of times, okay, so a lot of people aren't going to like me, you know, but they will respect me whether they admit it or not, you know. And I found that to be true in my life. So it's like, yeah, that's all right, if you know what I mean. Ooh, I saw a few different, um, they're fake believers in God that call themselves scholars, but are supporting a system that conditions child predation. And that's institute of what they call the Christian church. I'm not talking about the true body of Christ and the people that carry that. I'm talking about these fake institutions and fake scholars out there that are pushing the Hebrew agenda, just like Bitcoin. Who do you think the bankers are? Do we know? Yeah, we do. We call them little hats, you know? So, isn't it interesting? There's a band called Men Without Hats. I played one of their songs last night, Safety Dance. Because if your friends don't dance, or, wait, what is it? If your friends don't dance, and if they don't dance, then they're no friends of mine. But I did write on it, even if you don't dance, you'll be safe around me, you know. So yeah. Doug was out till way late working on gas lines because we had experts tell us it was the line. So and he had a new regulator and they checked everything. So, but it wasn't the regulator, is what this expert said. Luckily, we had a new one, but after he was out way late last night, and he's got, like a tap and die and a flaring tool to get the fittings running, to get more lines and fittings, and not just the cost, but he kept um preparing this end, and it was leaking, kept leaking. So anyway, come to find out today, that wasn't the problem. It was the regulator. Luckily, we had one that he had bought for a spare that was on a shelf in the shop. So yeah, but so we got our big tank filled up with gas now instead of these little 100-pound ones that we were buying. So we burn wood too. We need it for the hot water heater and the gas stove. So and if we want to use the gas heat, but warm up the floors. And so yeah, it's been a little bit of a hectic, busy, sad day in a way. I mean, I'm still happy inside, but yeah, it's been trying, you know. No, I'm never ever going to pass by on a youngster omitting any hard work I've ever done, even absorbing it as his own. No, these youngsters didn't blaze that path. Some of us elders did, and some of the younger ones. I mean, I know people that, like me, were in their church like 3, 4, 5 days a week, if not more, for different events and youth groups, and they did keep us secluded. That is part of the conditioning in all this, if they can get you that close, you know. And nothing's taking God out of my heart, but um Christians, but I lost my religion, I didn't lose God, I lost the religion, and a true scholar is going to be honest. They will scholar their way out of it when they're honest with themselves. It's not just all the fake stories that they wrote and the proof that we have that they are false, not inspired by a spirit, not that spirit. This is a text that has you believing you're born filthy. No, children are beautiful, they're born innocent. Nobody needs to save a baby, you know. If a baby dies, God's watching over it. No, nobody named Jesus needs to go bless that baby's soul. No, we're not born in sin. I'm not convinced, you know. No, we're conditioned into it, shamed into it, guilt tripped into it, you know. Wonder how many people have killed themselves for something they thought was a sin that was a natural thing on this planet, like lovemaking, you know? Do you wonder? I do, you know? I didn't say getting it on, I said lovemaking. That's natural. It isn't natural to act on our every impulse. And these so called church people are more impulsive and more cruel and lack empathy more than any other congregation I've ever encountered, you know. So, yeah, I think Satanists should drop the satanic church and just call it God's church. We're not talking about the devil. The devil and Satan and Lucifer, these entities, it's not all the same thing. And not all demons are evil either. A demonic, look it up. Damon, diamond, look it up if you need to. But these things are all important. That's what I'm trying to tell you. So if you called it God's church, then you'd have one church that patronizes a parent and one church that patronizes the kid. Maybe that's the way it's supposed to be. Maybe there's a breed of human beings that they belong to that kid. See, there's no argument in my mind, but when people get up there and they have to try and sully another person for their own benefits, you know, it's like when they're not honest about the control factors of the Hebrew text being inserted in 1200 AD into the scriptures and nobody cares. They take what was real Christianity and change it into Judaism in the guise of Zionism, and everybody's ignoring it like it's no big deal, and they're going along with the propaganda and the agenda that is not the real text. So anyway, and you have these fucking assholes out there making up stories and um gender confusion and all the rest of shit to correlate with their funky shit. Excuse me, people, but it's exasperating, you know. I'm gonna go back to watching Archaics has got The Great Lie of the Church, Date Palm, Resurrection in Egypt, 33 AD, and How They Stole the Phoenix. And you better believe this is all extremely important for the world to know. If you care about your kids or any family or friends or anything, you want the truth, right? Would you rather die than lie? That's my motto. I would rather die, drop dead right this second, than be dishonest about anything. The agenda isn't um bringing what the reality of the text is to people. The agenda is to keep the truth from people and keep people confused so they have control over you. Have you paid your tithings every week when you go to church? Did you pay your dues? I used to. So you can support a building that actually abuses children inside of it. Have any of you been in your church conditioned or abused? I'm not talking just the Catholics either. There's a certain look that abused children have. Did you know that? There's different visual indicators of the different types of abuse or things that we do with our bodies, physically looking at you. It's a fact. These are the types of things that people need to be more aware of, the conditioning factors, you know. No, I'm not teaching little people that they were born in sin. And I'm not teaching any woman that our matriarch, the first mother, was a whore or something, or no, no. There's no loving mother and wife that would ever do anything filthy to her beloved, ever. It's not like that. You know that, and I know that. It's a fact. Who has less control from the genders? Does anybody know? Statistically, it's kind of equaled out more than it ever has before. But I'm talking about if any of you have like grandmothers or great grandmothers, or you can kind of see from the um, personality that they carry, the integrity that's different than men. Excuse me, isn't it? Because they struggle a little more with that. Actually, um, having their genitalia on the outside is a disadvantage, like that, putting it bluntly. So, not that people can't control themselves, but it does make it harder to control. Mm. It's not easy being blunt. It's not easy being scientific. It's not pleasant, but it's time people wake the hell up and start connecting things. Like, here's a for instance, I told my kids this, it totally effed with their heads when they got older. But there's certain things in your body, like if you look at your child, a mother's breasts will sort of swell. Well, it's the same glands that will swell in lovemaking. But guess what? When you're a pedophile, their brain goes somewhere else. A mother's brain stays motherly. These are the type of control mechanisms that we use in our bodies, knowing that we have a central nervous system that controls more than one thing in the same area. This is scientific. It's actually real. That's what they should be teaching in a church, is the science of the body and the spirit together. That mechanism, that technology, and the chemistry of things. Yeah, kids should be taught the periodic table in Sunday school, for starters. Then we can talk about children's hormones, you know, or what is supposed to be a lack of them at that point, you know. I know you know what I'm saying is true. That's all I'm saying, but the main point, and my main point today, is being treated on an equal playing field out of respect. And when people don't merit that, I don't want anything to do with them. It's just like, okay, here's something I thought was funny. If somebody's going to join like a cult and you have to dress up like a girl in order to wrestle, to pay homage to um one of the gods that they're paying reverence to, and you're dumb enough to do something like that, you're already stupid that that leader could influence you to do something that you later say is against your nature, because that actually happened. And now there's people that used to be friends, but the only reason they're not friends now is because one believes that the Greek is the original, and the one that believes that is a professor, like other professors, not just one, but many believe that and so do the Templars and all the rest of them. They know. Why do you think the Catholic Church uses the Latin? Because it came out of the Greek. They know what's real. They won't admit it, but they know it. That's when it started to change. Well, it changed in England, actually, but Um, well, between the Vatican and England, London. But anyway, let's see. I'm going to go back to a point I was making. Just a minute. I heard a little noise. It was a little distraction. I'll get back there. The difference between the fictitious added to coined phrases of Hebrew and the Greek. Right on the side of Egypt. They were studying in the Alexandria Library in Egypt, and that was Greek. The scholars of Hebrew came out of there and went like towards the Caucasus Mountains, Turkey, Anatolia, that area, and those are the Khazarians that ended up even as far as Norway and back to China and the Americas, and but they changed things, and they don't think very highly of families. They don't teach you of the true Trinity. It's a lot of things that are lacking, you know. It's not that the Ten Commandments aren't a good thing, you know. There's things that are structured within um the golden rule is good enough. Do unto others, like you would have done. you know, that would save a lot of problems for people. It's sort of like the original human feeling from God to you, don't hurt people, you know. They say hurt people hurt people. Not always. Some people that have been hurt would never hurt another person for that very same reason. So it's just an excuse to be you know, yeah. It's a very big deal that they changed what was more scientific and more logical and told you more about life into something that's so shallow and has you believing that your mom's a part of a female that would have done anything to her husband or her child. I mean, all of it is so ignorant. And when you know the truth, when you learn the truth, when you've read enough and you actually know enough language that you can put two and two together, or you're going to trust the people that have thousands of people, not just one, believe, probably millions, you know. There's so many different Christian churches. Who's the real one? You know, they can't all be right, but they think they are. If you're not a part of their exclusive cult, then you're not anything. You're lesser than. You're going to go to hell like you're not already there. Well, I'm going to get this uploaded. I do appreciate you joining me. It's important for people to understand that the Hebrew was inserted, and I've proved it through language. I made extensive videos showing the changes in different words and things and how important that is. I'm talking pertinent words pertaining to the scriptures that make something something else, you know, like Christ being Jesus. I'm not saying he isn't a Christ, I'm just saying he's not the first one. And there's two separate things going on within religion that people don't understand, and it truly is Satanism. If you want to carry somebody else's shame, go for it. You know, I'm not gonna. So, all right, everybody, have a really good night or day wherever you're at. Peace and love from Pine City, Minnesota, USA.